Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Gulfport FR290 Weld-in steel stud anchor is what this is called. This is an anchor that I would always call a Z anchor, and I know that most people that I say that to in the industry know exactly what I mean. Some people know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Z anchor, others not. I don't know if it's a regional name for something like crash bar is a regional name for an exit device. They call them crash bars in certain areas, and exit hardware in others and whatnot. I thought I actually had invented this in the early 90s when I had said to myself, wouldn't the hollow metal manufacturer that we distributed, my family, since the 1970s until Kewanee Hollow Metal in Kewanee, Illinois, went out of business about 2005. They didn't have a Z anchor or an anchor like this, and I thought, boy, for metal stud work, this is all you need. If we just cut a piece of flange like this and weld it to the inside of the frame, the guy can bring the framer can bring his stud up to it and zip right through it with his mini screws. Occasionally, there would be someone who would ask for those Z anchors, and they're using heavy gauge steel studs, all 16 gauge studs, or whatever a heavy gauge stud would be, probably 18 gauge would be my guess. And they're welding it right to this. The job would call for welded construction, and they would weld right to this flange. Now, there are times that we would make our own, and I'll show that to you in a minute. But first, the FR290 is supposed to look like this. You're going to weld that into the frame, right about where that weld mark is. You're going to weld that to the frame on the backside of each rabbet. You're going to want to be careful not to throw too much heat into it, because then you're going to have this, and you're going to have to dress that. And you don't want to see any of that if you can help it, because you will have to sand it, you will have to prime it. Depending on the abrasive you're using, you might leave some score marks. So you're going to want to get that welded in there, welded to the point where it's not going to come off. That can't ever come off. But when you weld this in the FR290, you must do it in such a way that you've done it correctly. And what I mean by that is you have to have the area for drywall to get inside of here, and to have a fire rated opening, you have to have 1/2 inch of penetration of drywall. Now, someone in the know who's doing a fire door inspection, auditing fire doors, they can stick a probe back there and determine if you've got a 1/2 inch of penetration in the back of the frame. So be mindful. That is cut back like that to give you that 1/2 inch. You can shoot that drywall basically all the way to the rabbet. Don't touch the rabbet, you'll mess with the frame, and its integrity of being true plumb level and square. But that's what it's going to look like. Now, I had said earlier we had made our own. We did. If you've got a bunch of scrap like this, and after a month of work, you're going to have a barrel full of this material. You can take and rip that down. You can take and rip that down, and then you can take and rip it right in the center, and then you can cut those, and you can use those and weld those in. Now, it's a lot of work to do that, and you would really only do it, I suppose, if you had the time or you needed Z anchors, but you could certainly make your own. We've done that countless times. But that's what this is going to look like. This is an FR290, weighs about 0.22 pound. It's made of steel. This is a white coat galvanized product to keep it from basically rusting as you stare at it. Okay. Let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the Gulfport FR290 Weld-in steel stud anchor. I happen to have the DHI glossary up here as well, and it looks like this. This is what the the Steel Door Institute, SDI. This is what the SDI definition looks like for steel stud. A metal device secured in a frame to be used for attachment to a wall built with steel studs. This is secured in a frame, so it's welded in. You've got your room for your drywall penetration. You can see how they bring their double studs. That's standard construction around a door frame, double studs. Then you've got your floor track, your track for your studs to sit in. And that's what it looks like. Speaking of that's what it looks like, here is some images that we have. Bit of a cross-section view there, I suppose. That's kind of what it looks like when it's installed, although it wouldn't be sitting on the bottom of the frame like that. Okay. Perfect geometry. Now, this is meant for a 5 3/4 depth frame. The length of the FR290 is 4 inch, which is going to leave, well, it's slightly sub 4 inch. It's going to leave just enough room to get that 1/2 inch drywall penetration. And what I mean by that is the dimension from the frame to where the face of that flange is. And we can tell you that if you've got a 2 inch frame, this has a projection of 1 1/4. So you'll always get a 1/2 inch projection of drywall, even if you butt it up to the end of the Z anchor here, you'll always get 1/2 inch. Now, be mindful, as your depth changes, so too does the length of your anchor. Be mindful. As your face dimension changes, so should the Z anchor depth as well. If you're doing 1 1/4 frames or 1 1/2, you're going to need to think about that. Or 1 inch. That's going to all have to be custom made for that. So be mindful not to lose sight of that. Not too much else to see here. Gulfport FR290 Weld and steel stud anchor. Let's switch now over to the manufacturer's page as seen here. And from this page, we can pull up not only all of the Gulfport products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the Gulfport Industries parts catalog. Let's take our FR290 and let's copy that. Then let's open up our parts catalog. And then we'll do a find function or Control F on our keyboard for FR290. And voila, nothing happens. Let's put a space, FR290, then it comes up. Now, check this out. 2 inch face. You have to specify your jam depth. For frames with less than 2 inch face. Right here, FR290A. I don't know what that offset is, but it's probably 1/2 inch would be my guess. You know, this is 1 1/4. This is probably 1/2 inch. This parts catalog is really great because it will go through all such things anchor related from Gulfport. The name Gulfport is synonymous with this material. They do make other items, but locks, push and pull hardware, metal vision frames, I don't think of them at all for that material. No reason in particular. I just think of them as anchors and piece parts for hollow metal. And I know that countless other distributors do as well. Gulfport has been nice enough to donate anchors for use as props when I am creating videos to help illustrate anchor principles in other projects, and to them for that I say thank you. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. A hallmark of Gulfport is they're really not great at doing just 6 of these. They want to sell a box of, 100 or 1,000 of these, that kind of stuff. We do keep in stock smaller quantities of their common anchors. Someone has 5 frames and they've lost the anchors and I need them now. Generally, we can ship that right out from stock pretty quickly. We endeavor to keep that easy stuff on the shelf. The Z anchor is less common to sell after the fact because they're welded in. The hollow metal frame provider is going to have these already in the frame. So if you're ordering these loose, you may not be ordering the right anchor unless you know that you need these, and these are going to be welded into the throat of your frame. If you have any questions on the Gulfport FR290 or that FR290A for that matter, or any other Gulfport product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.